Hello, collective. I hope that you can hear me okay. I've got two fans going because it's hotter than a witch's titty, as they say. As a witch, I can confirm. It is hotter. It is hotter. So, just speaking of air, I've been doing the no AC for 3 weeks, maybe 3.5 weeks now, since the temperance reading. And it started out by choice, and then my AC actually sprang a leak when I went to turn it on one day because I was really not feeling it. And the divine held me accountable and was like, no, that was my tower. I was like, no, you are going to do this thing you said you were going to do. Practice what you preach, Nikki. So, with the air, we're doing a king and queen. I'm looking at them, and you guys can't see them, but we're doing the king and queen of swords, which is air energy, which is the masculine aspect of the mutable modality. Say that 5 times fast. Now, air as a quality is intellectual, it's logical, right? It's more ethereal. It gets into the place of Gemini Libra Aquarius, right? It gets into the place of decisiveness, right? But with the Pentacles reading, right, the King of Pentacles was picking up on a lot of swords energy, right? So that couple, that energetic couple, right, not necessarily an earth sign, masculine and feminine, but the masculine and feminine aspect of our earth quality, what you're going through right now in this divine path, in this divine union, is that the masculine is picking up on this impatience, this anxiety, this overthinking of the feminine aspect, the feminine side of the equation there, right? The equation, right? So yeah, the swords are the leaders and teachers, right? Mind over matter. So our mind, that's the swords energy, that's thought, that's communication. It's the air that we take in, right? So there's an ethereal quality, a sort of unseen quality about air, right? We can feel it, we can sense it. We are very moved by it, but it's not pentacles, it's not tangible, it's not something that we can see. So this is a little bit more of the masculine 5D aspect of the 3D. I'm saying aspect a lot, but aspect ratio. Maybe there's like, maybe you're a mathematician or something very much in like logical thinkers, teachers, doers, right? That's swords energy, that's masculine energy, the doers. And in the Pentacles reading, the feminine is impatiently waiting, right, for the masculine to lead, right? Masculine leads and feminine guides, right? It's not that the feminine is just blindly following the masculine. That's not how energy works. There's a duality in all things, right? And the best teachers I found, as a former, I supervised a daycare, I taught yoga to adults and children and families, and then I also did water aerobics with an elderly community, and then being in the military, but just and having gone to school, I'm not a very good student, student by the societal standards. But when it comes to teaching, and when it comes to learning swords energy, I have found that the best teachers are also the ones willing to be students, right? You learn the most from your students. You have to become humble and be willing to let them guide you, right? You're marketing towards your audience, right? When you're teaching something, when you're selling something, maybe you're in sales or your person's in sales, you have to know your audience, right? So when you're speaking to somebody, and when we're talking about a divine union, you know your person, you feel your person in this unseen sense, right? You can feel their energy, but to bring it into the 3D, to come into the 3D, you have to understand how it works in a more tangible way, right? So you get ways to measure that. It's kind of like getting into the math, the equations, the measurements of it, the science of it, and learning your person like a science. Which in a divine union, the best way to do that is to learn yourself like a science. Become your own inner scientist. It's a beautiful song by Coldplay. So to become your own scientist, where you can when you can do studies, when you can do experiments, when you can try different things and see how you react to them, right? It's getting into the major arcana, right? Testing yourself, trusting yourself, and learning how your 5D unseen ethereal energy is working in the 3D. Because you may want something, you may want this divine union, but if you are not measuring that in any kind of tangible way, if you're not bringing it into a logical place, if you're just going by your heart space and what you feel, right? If you have, as children of chaos, we have a plane going across my window here, but which is more Pisces energy for me. So and I was getting the Hangman was popping out on my way to find the King and the Queen of Swords both times, and the Hangman was pretty prevalent in the King of Cups in reverse was prevalent in the reading, the Pentacles reading. So something with Pisces, something with the third eye, right? That's bringing the third eye. The third eye measures the 5D. It's the unseen, but it's the third eye. So it's that duality of 3 and 5, 3 and 5. So yeah, you could have Pisces. This is very moon energy, right? As well. We're dealing with the feminine needs to get into a place where they can allow themselves to be led by somebody, but you also, as a student, the teacher has to know the students, but the student also has to know the teacher. The student also has to know what they're going to school for, right? Maybe I'm not a bad student. Maybe just what I was studying it didn't resonate with me. I know that now. But at the time, I felt like I was a bad student. I was, getting in trouble, or I didn't understand the material, or I would get done with my stuff really quickly and not do my homework, so I would skip a lot. I was just, as cycle breakers, I feel like that resonates with all of us. We're not meant to be in the cycle. And so there's a lot of pushback, a lot of societal, familial, and romantic influence that tells us we are wrong, but it's just because we're not choosing the area of study that fits what's aligned with us. And that's where logic and swords comes really heavily into play here. It's very important that we get into a swords energy when we're talking about choosing our person, because if we're just going on every whim as children of chaos, right? Which I would say most, if not all of us, were heavily influenced by a narcissistic guardian. A primary influence was a narcissist. They were lacking empathy. They were gaslighting. They were manipulating our reality, telling us what we felt, what was true, telling us that we were bad students, that we were bad kids, maybe putting us on medications, right? Or putting us into areas that were very limiting, right? In school, maybe we were in like specialty classes, or we were just in trouble a lot, in detention, right? But there was this sort of systematic, demonic approach, right? Because there's this everlasting war between the heaven and hell of our souls, right? However you view those terms, if they're actual places, if they're states of mind, they're energetic forces that have always been trying to deter us from our path, because our path is not the it's not the I don't want to say primary path, because I feel like the primary path is the true one, but it was to deter us from the masses, right? The easy path, the one that serves one versus serves all, right? Because God energy, divine energy serves all. It serves the collective, whereas demonic energy, non-divine energy, is lower vibrational energy, serves the one. It's very egocentric, it's very little me, and what can I get out of this? It's tit for tat, it's conditional, whereas divine energy is unconditional. So when we have gone through that, our reality is fractured, right? So if we're just following our heart and what feels good and what feels true, and we haven't gone into a place of being in the hermit mode, which is a mutable modality, right? The hangman, which is the individual that looks at the world in their own way. They march to the beat of their own drum. If you know any Pisces, you know they're sort of very strange, very in their own world, very romantic and idealistic, and they seem absurd to be hanging upside down, but they're actually looking at the world in a way that is true and aligned with them, which is looks upside down to the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is an idiot. Just is like that seems uncomfortable. They're just sticking with what's comfortable and easy. So you get into these mutable modalities, right? Temperance, right? You really temper your passions, right? You temper your lower vibrations, and you strengthen those to where they are aligned with the divine union, in the divine path, which is a struggle. It's a challenge. You want to turn that AC back on, but the divine is not going to let you. Once you commit to this path and you say, I see it, my third eye sees it, I've dreamt it, I've felt it, I know it's there, there's that knowing, the divine is not going to let you come off of that path, which is going to be a major struggle, because once you make that commitment, once you make that decision, then the demonic forces are going to get more aggressive, right? And so you're constantly going to be influenced by the things that pull you back to those lower vibrations, and that pull you back to those false truths and those lies that you were told growing up. So the negative self-talk comes in, the cyclical behavior, right? Getting into trauma bonding and being attracted to old cycles, and whatever the way that is, right? If that's substance, if that's energy, if that's workplaces, right? Instead of becoming a student of something new, you might just go with what you already know. Maybe you have a degree, and or an area of study that you are just, maybe your father was a salesman, now you're a salesman, or they were in the military, now you're in the military, lawyer, right? You just sort of like followed in suit with them. Maybe you have an air sign parent, and so you just sort of followed in suit with them. The suit of swords, which is the spades in cartomancy. I don't know why I said it like that, but I put my pinky up with that. So, and now to break out of that cycle, you have to maybe take on a new form of study, and to do what you feel called to do, not in that fractured heart space, but in that true heart space, right? Because with this work, you're breaking away this sort of shell that you've built up around your truth, which is like this false armor, and which speaks very much to swords energy, because swords energy is commonly referred to as being cold or distant or stern, and that's just not true. They've just built up an armor, a protection around their heart, because they know better. Intellectually, they've just gotten into a more head place. They've allowed their head to lead the way, which is masculine energy. And so this is all about nurturing the feminine and understanding the feminine and getting into a place where you are able to trust in your logic, right? You can trust the masculine, and this is that divine union, right? It's happening within you. So the feminine has to trust the masculine so that she can open up. The feminine being your heart space, your truth, and your divine heart space, right? You've had this blocked heart chakra for a long time, your solar plexus, and all of this fear-based place has gotten you into a space where it's like you're this knight of armor. You're just wearing this armor, and you're sort of you've just been very protected. And so you've probably come off very cold and very distant to lovers and all of that, but it's like they're just not this area of study for you. They're just not aligned with your truth. And so you don't trust them. You know, it's the divine union, you trust that individual. But you have to display that readiness energetically to let them in, to call them in, right? So if you're the masculine, you have to be willing to understand. You have to understand your student, right? Your feminine energy. So you have to become a student of that feminine energy, so that you're not going to go in and be abrasive, especially if you are in your King of Swords energy. You don't want to be too abrasive. You don't want to be too direct. This is somebody that's going to need a little bit of, not manipulation, finagling, finesse. Finagling sounds manipulative too. A little bit of finesse, which can also be manipulative, so you check yourself there if you feel like you're being manipulative, right? Manifestation is divine timing. Manipulation is demonic timing, right? And so, which is little me timing. What can I do? I want it now. Instant gratification. I want it now. This is trusting. So you have to trust that if you put in the work, right? With Pentacles, we talked about investing, right? And so if you know that you're investing in something, right? You're paying a tuition towards a degree that you actually want, not that your mother, your father, those before you wanted, or anybody wanted for you. This is what you know to be true. This is your school of thought, right? So if you're breaking a cycle in a learning aspect, right? Maybe you're literally going to school. Maybe you'll meet your person there, right? Maybe this is somebody that you knew from school. We have the Six of Cups here, and I'm gonna get to the cards. But hold on. But this is Swords talks about softening yourself, right? Because Swords energy is so blocking. It's necessary in the beginning, right? When you go into hermit mode, the Queen of Swords is very important. It's a very important part of this divine journey, because you have to cut a lot of the bullshit out. It's necessary for you, and not everybody can come with you, and not everybody has to be cut out in a way that's like, fuck you, but they have to be removed. Their energy has to be removed, because their energy does not serve you, your calling, your higher calling, your divine path. And that's a very tricky place to be. So I will show you this one, just because the image of the Queen of Swords here, we're just going to look at her. The Queen of Swords is usually depicted with one sword. That's very decisive. One sword is new. It's Ace of Swords. She's holding that Ace of Swords. She's saying, I deserve this. I don't deserve that. She's very discerning. She does not take anything. She doesn't cut any slack, right? This person can seem very cold and very direct, but this individual is protecting their heart. In this deck, this Queen of Swords has two swords, which is more indecisive. Two of Swords is something that you're not seeing. It's a decision you have to make, that you have to lift a veil and look at. And she has a little thin veil over her eyes. There we go. And the moon energy, which is about unseen. So this Queen of Swords, the energy from this Queen of Swords is feeling very protective. And that's what I was talking about with needing to release your armor. Okay, there's a way that you can trust the work that you've been doing, trust all of the cutting out that you did. Not accepting things from the past, because they are going to come in hot and heavy. They're going to try their damnedest to deter you, to lure you back in, and you're gonna have to stand your ground. And there's a way to stand your ground from the masculine work that you've been doing and still do it in a way that nurtures the feminine, right? We all have masculine and feminine in us, and at this point we are single, divine individuals awaiting the union, right? If you're in a relationship and you're not going to find your answers here, right? If you're looking to tarot about a current relationship, get out of it. It's clearly not divine, because you wouldn't be asking about it. You wouldn't need to make a pros and cons list. You wouldn't have to research, a person that you're already with. If you don't know everything about this union, and I don't mean the little stuff that you learn about people in the 3D. I mean, in the 5D, if you don't energetically know this person, that's not your divine counterpart, right? Because there's an immediate recognition there. And if you don't have that immediate recognition, that talks more about like the twin flame journey. You're just not ready to meet up with that. You're not ready to come together with that person. So don't force it. Because if you don't trust somebody, then that means you don't trust yourself. That means you're in this place where you don't actually, because if you've dealt with a lot of narcissists, once you know their game, you can deal with them all the time. But initially, you have to cut all of them out. You have to cut all that energy out. You have to go no contact, right? It's necessary for you to go no contact so that you can learn yourself, so that you can learn your truth, and you can peel away all the layers of lies that have been blocking your heart. Once you get to that place where you're like, no, I'm actually not crazy. I'm not a bad student. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not worthless. I'm not, etc., etc. Then you can go, okay, now I can interact with you and I see you. And now you don't faze me because I know myself. This Queen of Swords looks like there's still some trepidation about knowing thyself, about the strength of their heart. Not sure if they have the strength to let somebody in, right? And so if that's the energy that you are currently in, as the divine feminine, then that's the work that you need to do. You need to do heart chakra work. You need to do breath work. You need to unblock your chakras, right? Because your heart center is the center of your chakras, right? They're 3 above, 3 below. So if you want to bring something into the 3D, right, as above, so below, you want to bring them to your heart center, then you need to, if one is blocked, they're all blocked, or one's overflowing, right? They're all out of balance. And that might not happen immediately, but it will happen, right? Just like a plumbing system. It will backflow and it will overflow. And you will become imbalanced in an area that maybe you've already done some work, and it will still kind of back up and flood that area, or it will dry out an area that you've done work. So you might find that your physical body, if you're in this fear-based place, you might find that your physical body feels very blocked, very tense, right? So you need to bring some breath. You need to oxygenate all the cells, right? Imagine all of your cells in your body inflating like little balloons, and breathe into your fingertips. Stretch your arms out. Do some wall stretches, doorway stretches, gentle yoga, yin yoga, right? Gentle things, very passive stretches, right? Because and you can do active stretches as well, but I feel like this is more nurturing the yin, so getting into a more yin place. So it's not like necessarily that you have to stop going to the gym or working out or running or doing whatever you're doing, but incorporate some walks, right? Incorporate some child's poses in there. Really nurture yourself and then open yourself. So it's a flexion and extension of the whole body to get yourself aligned. I feel like you've been doing one motion for so long, energetically or physically or both. You've been doing one motion for so long that you've strengthened part of your body, right? Like if you're doing ab work, there's a lot of crunches. You strengthen the front of your body so much that you're actually pulling yourself into this fetal position. So you're going to start feeling less confident. All right, you might be like, look at my abs, I look great, but you're actually less confident energetically because you're bringing everything forward. And so to strengthen your true core, you need to strengthen the back body. And so you might be having a lot of back pain, and where there's pain, that's a weakness. That's where you need to do some work. So if you have a lot of times when people have like sciatic pain, they want to stretch their sciatic. It's already stretched. It's the hip flexors. It's the front of the body that's so strong. And when the muscles are strong, they get shorter, right? So you need to lengthen the opposite side of where you have pain. Open that area up, right? And then and strengthen the other side. So you're bringing them like this, right? So there's something with that, with the physical body. There's that. But we have the Ten of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. Okay. Wow. There's something going on with the throat chakra here. Maybe like with public speaking or communicating with your person. I am getting a lot of life path stuff, stuff that you're doing in the 3D, the work that you're doing, the job, the career choice, schooling, education. Maybe you have children, right? So you are being a teacher, but to be a teacher and to break that cycle of everything that you've been doing before and to lead them in a new direction, there's a relinquishing of all the old lessons. Not what you learn from those, right? Because you learn what not to do. So it's not forgetting everything, but it's relinquishing it as kind of old material. You're updating the textbooks. Excuse me. So the Knight of Wands is somebody who's here for a good time, not a long time, and she's turned her back. The Queen of Swords is cutting that out. But you see, she's looking at this Ten of Pentacles. That's the 3D union of the divine couple. That's that King and Queen of Pentacles. This is the world that they come into, right? The Emperor and the Empress. Queen of Swords could be a Libra Empress energy, right? So this is, maybe you had an Aries parent with the wands here. I won't get into that, but just, yeah, Emperor Wands. Yeah, maybe you had a fire parent, but I'm getting Aries because there's a fracture in your ability to see this future. And there's this thin veil, like you feel it. You know that you know this is what you want. You know you want somebody that you can play chess with. Not someone who can teach you chess, right? Maybe you and your person are gonna like learn how to play chess, but maybe not literally. But it's sort of this ongoing game. It's not competitive though, right? This is like a partnership. You guys are playing to strengthen each other, to challenge each other, to grow more, because when you are a better student, right, you challenge your teacher. Well, sometimes when you're a bad student, you challenge your teacher. But the more that you're willing to learn, the more that you are open to receiving that information, the more that teacher is going to pour into you, and the more that they're going to have to learn themselves so that they can teach you more. And in that way, there's this new cycle of teaching and learning and being the teacher and the student. And it's more guiding. The feminine guides, right? Guides you inward. So there is a leadership, but it's more of an allowing, a receptive, a nurturing form of leadership, where you are showing the masculine how to come within, how to nurture their heart space, how to nurture their moon energy, their feminine energy, their 5D energy, because that is the feminine. And then the masculine is showing the feminine how to work in this physical world, right? They're leading them through this chaotic, nonsense, ethereal world that we decided we wanted to be incarnated into for whatever reason. Here we are. And it's a lot of fun, so have fun with it. But this is fun. You're playing together and you're learning. And if you've ever played chess with somebody who's really good, you're like, ooh, it challenges, you want to be better. And that's what a divine union is. It's not competitive, it's challenging in a way that makes you guys grow together. It makes you both want to be the best version of yourself, the strongest version of yourself, the smartest version of yourself. Not so that you can be smarter than your person. You probably saw a lot of that competitive, conditional love growing up, right? In the partnerships that one or both of your parents experienced. Maybe they were divorced and they both got into more and more toxic relationships. Maybe you just kept reverberating out. Maybe you had siblings and you saw them repeat those cycles, and you've seen it in your friendships, you've seen it in everything that you've been around, in the workplace, maybe everywhere. You've just seen this conditional, unsafe energy, right? So you've been guarding the shit out of your heart because you haven't seen this. You've dreamt it, you've longed for it, you've imagined it, right? You've romanticized it. Maybe you see it in movies or in books that you read. You think it's probably true, or maybe you even thought you saw it in your relationship, primary caregivers relationships. So maybe it looked like they had it together, it looked like they were a true partnership, and then that fell apart. So it was like, okay, I thought I saw that, and then maybe they divorced, or things went really dark, and you were like, I thought that was it. So it was very, it disturbed this whole idea that you had about relationships. And so it was, just sort of like upended everything that you believed about relationships. And so there's a guarding of the heart here. Okay, let's talk about the masculine. Now the masculine over here, one sword. Decisive, ready to lead. Just make sure that you're ready to follow as well. Masculine, that's the only thing that I'm getting here. There's no, you are a boss. Masculines are a boss energy. And sometimes they can become bossy, right? And they can get very into the facts about things and not rely enough on emotions and feelings, and with the feminine has gone through, again, I feel like the masculine, is picking up on this energy of the feminine, right? They're feeling this guarded energy. Maybe the masculine didn't have a tumultuous upbringing like this feminine did. So even if you can't conceive it from your own experiences, there's a need to have that empathy. I mean, you have to have that understanding of your person and what they're going through. So maybe that's an area of study that the masculine needs to pick up, is understanding narcissism and children of chaos and narcissistic abuse, right? Understanding addiction, right? Because maybe your person was spawned into addiction, and this, you can flip this if you feel, because if you are a feminine air sign, you are in a more masculine energy. So you can be, the masculine could be a female. So it's, you know, you could be like a Libra is cardinal fire, cardinal air, which is cardinal is fire, and that's fire and air, which is the two masculine signs. So like Libras can be quite in their masculine leadership, bossy energy. If they're in a lower vibration, they can become quite bossy, closed off, not very emotionally nurturing. I've got this, I can do it on my own, Miss Independent kind of thing. So if you know if you're a masculine or a feminine, right? You know if you're in your masculine energy or your feminine energy. And if you are a more masculine female and you want to be in a more feminine place, then get into your earth energy, your water energy, right? Tap into the earth and water elements, literally in the physical world, right? Will ground yourself, get into water, literally get into the water, you know, hydrate, juice, drink, and consume things that are yin, do yin things, like transmute that energy into a place where you are feeling more feminine, where you're nurturing yourself, where you're treating yourself like an empress. So get into that empress energy, which is, again, if you are a Libra, then you could be having a lot of issues with your throat chakra, which is Libra and Taurus are both the empress, right? So if you are an air sign and you're a female, you can always shift into, you can get into your empress energy through the other signs that you share it with. Maybe you have Taurus in your chart, maybe you know a Taurus around you, right? You can kind of mimic and learn and research. You can access these energies and these elemental tools around you. I mean, they're all at our disposal, so you can access them. You can kind of loophole into those different energies, because if you are a Libra, you are an Empress, you've got Taurus right there, right? It's right there, which is ruled by the throat chakra. So maybe you're dealing with a Taurus, but there is also with swords and communication, right? There's a fear of speaking your truth. There's a fear of, and if one or both, you know, you might both be going through this and just mirroring this back to each other, and this could be the challenge for you. But if one of you seems like, oh, they have it together, they're decisive, they never dealt with addiction, they didn't, you know, they've got a good family unit, they seem smarter than me, whatever. It's like if you're putting someone up on a pedestal, or you're putting someone in a box of purity, or like they're untouchable, that's also a form of conditional love, right? So you have to open yourself up to the idea that this person can understand you, and that maybe all the corruption that you think you have, or if you feel like you have a dirty black and white checkered past, you know, take yourself out of that box as well, right? Because you can filter yourself like water. You can be like water, my friend. You can filter yourself like water. You can get that sediment out. You can cleanse your air. You can overcome fear if you have a fear of public speaking. Or yeah, if you are dealing with kids, right? Maybe you don't want to tell them who you really are, or what you really come from, because you want to protect them as well. Or if this is it's just you speaking to yourself, and you're guarding your inner child. You're going from guarded to guided, right? You're guiding that inner child by saying, I feel you, I understand that you went through a lot of bullshit, and that you went through a lot of corruption and heartbreak, right? You have those Three of Swords, and that's also this Queen here. I know I was going to talk about the King of Swords, but I mean, I feel like the masculine energy is more ready in this scenario, whereas the feminine, because with the divine union, the feminine leads the way, right? The feminine is typically the one who's tapped in, feminine energy is tapped into the 5D, they know that this exists, and they're typically waiting on the masculine to realize it. In this situation, I feel like the masculine knows that this is their person, and they're just waiting for the feminine to allow them to drop their guard and allow them to come in and love them. Let me love you, right? And so, yeah, if you're boxing somebody in at the feminine, I just feel like I'm going back to the feminine, right? Because the masculine is surrounded by cups here. I feel like the masculine is ready. The 10 of Cups, right? 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. This is where they're headed. They're very, very close. They've done a lot of work, and there's just a need for the feminine energy to trust in that work and trust that you're not only okay alone, but the moment that you drop that guard and open yourself up to receive, this is what you're going to be receiving. There's a 6 of Cups, right? Maybe you did go to school together. Maybe you knew each other from childhood. Either way, or you're going to meet in school. Two birds just flew into the tree. Yeah, as confirmation. You guys are going to come together, right? Birds of a feather flock together. This, as soon as you relinquish the fear, and if you're the masculine and you resonate with this, right? Maybe you feel these things. You could be picking up your feminine, right? So if you are to lead them and you're going to be the masculine leader here, you may have to do this work as well, right? If you feel, you know, we only know ourselves, so you know where you are along the way. And if you're looking to tarot, some general readers on YouTube to tell you where you are in the process, you got a way to go, right? Because this is all about knowing yourself and discovering your truth and then aligning with that. And then readings are just here as reminders, confirmation. You see the patterns and the synchronicities, but you have to be tapped into those. And the only way to tap into those is to tap into yourself first and to know what you're looking for. And then you'll see it everywhere. If you don't know what you're looking for, if you're all over the place and you're indecisive and you're 9 of Swords, 8 of Swords, you know, you're all over the place with your Swords energy, and you don't know what you're looking for, you haven't made that decision to get on your divine path, then you're going to be very confused by all the signs, right? Because the signs will confirm whatever you already know. When you read a book, when you watch a movie, when you have a conversation, you're going to receive the information that confirms what you already know. So if what you know is a lie, you're going to get confirmation of that. If you think that you are a loser, if you think that you are in lack, if you think that you are ugly, if you think that you are unlovable, if you think these negative things that were instilled in you as a child are true, then that's what the external is going to confirm, right? You're going to continue to hit towers. You're going to until you get to a point where you say, oh no, that's all a lie. And once you go, that's a lie, this is actually the truth, this is what I'm looking for, right? You might not have any representation of it, but you have to make that decision. So then you'll start calling that in from the external. Then you'll start receiving those signs, numbers. And if you don't know, like if you can't think of a sign that would confirm, or maybe you're Googling, like what sign do I look for like to know I met my person, or my person's coming close, or whatever. You might find something in that, right? But the only way that you're really going to really align with the truth is state a new truth, okay? So instead, like, birds are a confirmation for me. Planes are a confirmation for me. Because I decided that to be. They represent certain things in my life. I have seen a scenario where I come into divine union, and when that happens, right, when those little signs that I have decided upon, I haven't seen them, obviously, where it's like once I've decided that, then that will be my confirmation when those signs align. I feel like I didn't really say anything complete there. So, go into meditation, see your person, feel the union, what it feels like, what, not necessarily their hair color, eye color, height, what they do for work, none of that. I mean, you can if you want, you can get that specific. But if you're in this place, I feel like you need to get into a more nature-based space, which is typically coming from the air to the earth, right? So find things when it rains, that means this. When I see this number, this color, when I smell this smell, that means this, right? Make your own equations, make your own signs and patterns up, because they're out there, they're available. And if that's what you're asking the universe for, if that's what you're asking the divine for, to confirm that you are on the right path, then the universe will send that in. If you're going, send me a sign that I'm on the right path, but you don't have any signs in mind, and you're still up in your head, and you haven't tapped into your heart space and your truth yet, then you're gonna get like butterflies and dragonflies, and it's gonna rain, and then the sun's gonna come out, and there's gonna be a rainbow, and you're gonna go, okay, those are a lot of things that just happened, but I don't actually know what any of those mean, you know. Some things you can see as an omen, right? People see black cats walk across their path, and they think that that's something bad is about to happen. Personally, I see a black cat, and I'm like, cool. They're, you know, Egyptian guardians, right? They're very primal, primitive guardians of the other world. So I feel differently when I see them. It's a weird tangent, but yeah, I feel like somebody is, you're right there, you just need to tap into, and coming from an earth, from air sign to your heart space, right? Coming into that green, coming into the earth. That's also Leo, right? The solar plexus and the heart chakra are Leo. So you might be dealing with a Leo, but the divine is the sun, right? And so in the solar system, we are all on our way to the sun. We're all like bungeeing around, but all of us have a cord to the sun. We are all headed there, right? And I believe that that is, when we all make it there, that will be our star death, and then we'll have a rebirth that will be more aligned, right? This, with the Six of Cups, there's this past life energy with you too, and I just feel like you've already met this person. Maybe in the 3D, definitely in the 5D, maybe in another life, however you view that. Could be earlier in this incarnation, like a past life, a past version of yourself, and maybe you just weren't ready to come together because there wasn't that trust, and you were still too heavily influenced. One of you was still too heavily influenced by the external. The only influence that matters is the internal influence, right? You can analyze, you can observe, and you can take notes and measure everything that's happening in the external. But that's just a representation of what's going on within. So you have to shift this energy first. You have to shift the heart space. You have to know thyself first before you, I don't know why I'm saying know thyself. Yeah, maybe there was religious upbringing, which is very conditional. And so to come into a spiritual place might be a really difficult journey, because anything where religious nomenclature or anything that resembles religion comes into play, it might be very off-putting. But spirituality is unconditional. Religion is conditional, right? And so, yeah, maybe you met in the church. Maybe you are wanting to get into that. Maybe you met, in Bible study. Maybe this individual is involved in the church, or they identify as one denomination. And that could be really nerve-wracking for the feminine that has this tumultuous past and this fear of opening up to that, because they might seem so pure, right? Or like, this individual seems very pure, right? They have this like blue cloak with Mary, the Virgin Mary. Maybe they're a Virgo, but they could have this sort of virtuous thing about them that's making the feminine feel unworthy. It could also be the same sign as a parent, right? But the blue and the Pisces and the water surrounding them could be Pisces is a mutable sign, right? Mutable is air and water. So yeah, they could be, maybe there's an air sign dealing with a Pisces, maybe you had a Pisces parent, and so that could be triggering some things from childhood, because it maybe feels familiar in a way that's makes you feel less worthy. If you had a tumultuous mother, yeah, we have the Empress, the Lovers, Four of Wands, and the Sun. I mean, I feel like with the masculine knows, the masculine is waiting and ready for the feminine. The feminine is just, we got the Devil, we got the Four of Pentacles, and the Hanged Man. Could have a Pisces moon. There's Capricorn there as well. Capricorn is the workaholic. This is, and then the Devil is all of that lower vibrational infiltration that's going on, right? Which is why, and I have a reading that I'm working on. It's not a reading, it's just a video on being single for a year, which is advocated in recovery. So maybe someone is dealing with recovery and you're feeling very triggered by the idea of love, but you should be single for a period of time, right? They really say stay away from that, because the most triggering thing to an addict is a romantic relationship. And I'm feeling a lot of tightness, a lot of lack of confidence, unworthiness. This Three of Swords energy, this very, like, this heartbreak, this hurt, this fear. My throat feels cleared up, so there is communication coming. And the masculine pursues, the feminine does not pursue, so there's a lot of empty space in the end of this reading. So I think I'm going to leave it there. We have the Six of Swords, Five of Cups, and the World. Yeah, they see that you, speaking to the feminine here, again, masculine sees the feminine. They have this kind of angelic view of, this person feels angelic. And I feel like the feminine does not feel worthy of that because of their past, because of what they were told. You are worthy. You are completely worthy of this. You've done the work. You can trust yourself. This individual is not going to put you into a box. So that's the agreement, is you cannot put them into a box either, right? They're not pristine with a bow. They're a human being with their own flaws and their own stuff, and you guys will discover that. But yeah, I feel like there's just there's a lot of heartbreak here with the feminine. Six of Swords is coming, like this rescue is coming. I feel like the masculine is going to just break through that barrier. Kind of like a bad student, right? A student that's acting out, or a child that's acting out, or very guarded. Maybe dealing with like foster. If you've worked with kids, then you understand when they're guarded like that and they're acting out, they're doing it from a place of hurt. And there's this sort of like, you almost have to like come in and shock them, and in a way that says like, I'm here, you can trust me, it's okay. So I feel like there's a shakeup coming. The world, they could be at a distance and coming in to coming from a great distance. I feel like this person has a lens. It's not a Page of Swords, because this individual isn't just like you know, just like creeping on your Instagram page or anything. This individual is, they see you. They're not just watching, they see you. That's that recognition, that divine recognition. This individual sees you and sees this heartbreak, and they're going to remind you like, hey, this Two of Cups is right here behind you. This Ten of Pentacles is right in front of you. Like, I have stuff to learn too. I'm not all knowing. I know a lot, and I'll share with you what I know, and then I have a lot to learn from you as well. Right? And I want to learn. I need to learn. Like, there's this masculine has made their decision, and they're coming into they're coming up behind you. You got these, the feminine doesn't even see this coming because she's got these swords in front of her like, I'm ready, and this motherfucker's gonna creep up behind you and be like, hey, I see you. They're gonna come up and hug you from behind, I feel like. And really get that sympathetic nervous system, just like chill it out. Because I feel like your nervous system is very reactive and overactive right now. Okay, so I am gonna leave it there because I like that better. I like that there's a little bit of closure, a little bit of something coming in. Make up your own signs, right? Say, if this happens, that means that. And if you're new to that, maybe start with something a little more broad and not so specific to love, right? So start with things that are just a little bit more like, show you how to just follow your gut or your heart, right? Like maybe just choosing what to eat, right? Like flip a coin, and if it's heads, I'm gonna eat this. If it's tails, I'm gonna eat that. And that might seem very silly, but that's a very simple and effective way of coaching yourself into relying on fate, even though it's a 50-50 shot and you're gonna eat one or the other, and if you don't eat this one, you'll probably eat that tomorrow, right? Like it's not it doesn't seem very profound, but for somebody who is in this place, this very fear-based place of opening up to the divine and to love, right? Those are major things. So just get into a place where you're just use the hands of fate, right? This coin or whatever it is, right? If it rains tomorrow, I'm going to watch this movie. If it's sunny tomorrow, I'm going to watch that movie. Right? Just very simple things. I'm going to heads or tails. Like, use that coin like Two-Face, but not to kill people. But just for very simple things. I'm going to brush with my right hand. I'm going to brush with my left hand. You know, I'm going to take a cold shower. I'm going to take a warm shower. Whatever. Just and move it up and just kind of use it as a way to just trust in the hands of fate. And like, either way, you're going to be fine. Either way, your teeth are going to get brushed. Either way, you're going to watch a movie. Either way, you're going to eat dinner, right? And then allow that to kind of expand a little bit more and more, and then you can start to devise your own signs, your own patterns. If you see patterns, right? If you see patterns, and you can also use tarot for this as well, like in your own self. Do readings on yourself, and then just notice the signs, right? If you pull a 10 of Pentacles, all right, now I'm going to look for 10 everywhere. And when you see it, right, is it 10:10 on the clock? If you hear the number 10 in a podcast, or what's on page 10 of the next book that you read. Examples like that, okay? Just kind of tap into what's on that page, right? The 10th book on your bookshelf, 10th page, what's on that page? Read the page, right? And then you'll just start to expand and find signs of your own and find different things. You already know it, so you just need to see it to confirm what you already know. You already know this is coming. Both of you already know the 10 and the 10 are coming. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups, the Emperor, the Empress. You guys are coming together. So just, and with the Aries again, the Emperor and the Empress, with the air sign of Empress is Libra, and then the Emperor is Aries, which they are polar signs, right? So this person, if you're not an air sign, or Libra or an Aries, maybe this is your polarity. This person feels you. It's going to feel very angelic. They get you. I know I said I'm going to leave this twice now, but I want to give more to this situation, because I really feel like this individual, the feminine in this dynamic, and that's the feminine energy. So the masculine is, if they're struggling with this feminine energy as well. Because it takes both. We have masculine and feminine, same ingredients, different recipes, and then you're bringing that into a union with another person who has their own recipe. I talked a lot about recipes and food in the Pentacles reading, so maybe there's something in there. I'm sure there's something in any reading that you listen to. If you're looking to just confirm what you already know, and not take things literally as advice or as gospel for what you need to do in your life. Just, you already know this is coming, so just work on opening up, right? Opening up that heart chakra, strengthening the back body, getting realigned, building that confidence, and trusting in the universe, so that when you guys take this leap of faith, the full energy, again, more Aries and Aquarius energy, then you can have that trust there. All right, this went extra long. This is going to take all day to upload. So, but I have another not tarot necessarily related video that I'm about to do and upload. So that one might upload first, because I think it's going to be a lot shorter than this one. And then tomorrow I'm going to do the power couple reading for, there we go. No, we don't want her guarded. This queen is just pitiful. Tomorrow I'm going to do the reading for cups. We've got a lot of cups here, and that Pisces energy. I really want to do the Queen and King of Cups. Let's get into that heart space. Let's get into the emotion. Let's get into that feminine energy, that depth, that deep love. Right? Because birds, air and water is birds and fish, right? They follow that current. You guys are very alike in that sense that you're on the current, but one is deep in their emotions and one is heavy in their head. Okay, I'm really going to leave it there. I wish you well.